At the outset, Miss on. This is on. No. At the outset, let me thank Dr. Nakla for giving me the opportunity to present my work in front of you. First of all, the topic is a little misleading because I will be talking not only on tobacco, but I have added some other, because tobacco work did not progress as much as we wanted because of the lack of the material, and we did assess allergenicity, but after that we wanted to do many other parameters of allergenicity, but the material was not available. So after that I will be presenting some data which will show that how Codex guidelines needs to be modified in order to do allergenicity of GM crops especially. So I mean, I will not go in the background because a lot of things have already been spoken about the transgenic crop, their benefits. But the only thing I will like to express is that because the borrowed gene is from different source, so there is always a suspicion, and that's why we need to go for safety and allergenicity. And also regulatory guidelines of different countries, they require allergenic and toxic potential of genetically modified crop before commercialization. So for the transgenic tobacco as such, there should not be any allergenic concern if you see as far as smoking is concerned, but tobacco is chewed as well in India and in other parts of the world as well. So because of that, we thought maybe the consumers who are chewing it or snuffing it, there may be chances, because even taking it by nose, it is known that people may get allergic to that. So several transgenic varieties were there, and the one was we did it is cancerian bee-like protein, which was the gene was borrowed from a pea plant, and for making it salt resistant. So pea plant, this gene is not known to be allergenic, and that is one of the requirements, but still one has to go for the allergenicity. And the basic thing in allergenicity which is required is first thing, you match the sequence homology. If it is matching with allergen, you should not perform that. Then the protein should be digestible. If it is not digestible, probably it may be allergic. And then so taking we isolated the crude, all the proteins, which you can see the red these are the proteins which were not digestible. This is in both the cases of wild type as well as transgenic tobacco. In both the cases, this protein was not digestible. So, and they were substantially equivalent. The CBL protein we could do the Western as well, and we had antibodies, and we could see that this was expressed in the transgenic but not in the wild type tobacco. But when after doing the digestion, when we did the Western, so the protein was not could not be absorbed. That means the protein was digestible. So I mean, the conclusion of this work is there is no difference in the digestibility profile of wild type as well as CBL tobacco protein. Only 20 kD protein, which is common both GM as well as wild type. So no difference as such. And the CBL protein, which is the protein which we got inserted, which was got inserted in, this was digested just in 15 seconds in SGF. So no chances of being allergic when getting exposed to. Basically, digestion in SGF is SGF is pepsin basically, and in stomach food is there for 1 hour. So if the things get which one? This one? Last one? Okay. No, it's not. It is here, but it's not there. Oh. Okay. So after doing this, in vitro experiments, we did some animal experiments. We have animal model and we have seen in our lab with several of the crops that BALB-C can be used as mice, which very much.
What is the pointer?
Which one?
This.
Oh, okay. So you treat it every week with this protein for 43 days, means 7 weeks, and then leave the animals for 2 weeks, and then after 59 and 60 days you can challenge the mice with the higher amount of protein. Blood, of course, is collected at different days for sera and cytokines, etc. And when we assess this for different allergenicity parameters like a specific IgE1, a specific IgE, which is one of the most important parameters where IgE gets raised, and similarly with the histamine, both in transgenic as well as in wild type, the rise in the levels were very similar. So no significant difference was there in transgenic as well as wild type tobacco. The results indicate that GM tobacco leaf protein has no unintended effects compared to wild type tobacco protein as far as allergenicity is concerned. On this we did for mustard, and there also GM mustard. Just one slide I will like to you to have that. Here again we showed that in we did the immunoblotting, and as for native as well as GM mustard, both all three proteins were there which were allergic. No other new proteins in the genetically modified was there. Similarly, you can see the city wise also it's and these were identified with the mice sera, not human sera, because this were treated with we treated mice with this protein using the similar protocol as I showed you in the tobacco slide. Just a minute. Now, after saying something for GM, because it's a GM conference, with my experience in allergenicity of different legumes, because legumes are the one which are, in addition to 8 most common foods which people are allergic all over the world, this is called big 8. Legumes are the major. Say out of 8, basically peanut and soybean, 2 are legumes. These are the most common which people are allergic. So, but in our part of the area, peanuts are not that highly consumed, neither soybean. So we thought, because people are consuming different legumes, so what is the status of different allergy of different legumes? So, but we rather going for traditional way, we thought, okay, why not because we are going to do the allergenicity of the new proteins, take the GM food route, and then we did this according to this. So source of protein should be allergic, non-allergic, and all these, all 3 were not having any problem. But serum is screening of Ig cross reactivity for targeted serum and say specific serum. If you have a new protein, I'm just you can get it for legumes, but if it is a new protein which you have inserted from some source, how you are going to get sera from allergic patient? This is a guideline, but you are not going to get unless this thing is released in the market, people get exposed to it and they use it for a long time, then only you will get some sera. So, but that's not the case, and this is, so I'll focus my talk how to do that. But of course this is done with legumes, and these legumes, the proteins were not known to be allergic earlier. So I want you that these proteins were we did using BALB-C mice, then we validated with the human sera, and I'll just compare that 2D expression profile by Weston, which not many other people have done, and which is very, very, very similar. This is the question, So how can we find patient allergic to a new protein? Is there a possibility of using an animal model and which behaves much like humans? So we have done the allergenicity of red gram, green gram, red kidney bean, chickpea. These two I can show you the Westerns of 2D as well, whereas in red kidney bean and chickpea, the 2D profile right now is not available, so I will be showing you SDS page means 1D profile, where it is very similar in mice as well as in humans. This is, I think we can just leave it. This is just the digestibility over 1 hour. It is recommended. So these two proteins were stable up to 60 minutes, but many other proteins were stable up to say, and this digested up to 4 minutes. So guideline says, that up to, if it is more than say 4 or 8 minutes, it may be allergenic. And you can see the proteins which were stable to pepsin, all of them. This is different patients, sera of the different patients, and you have say anti-Ig this thing by Western immunoblots of this individual sera of 10 red gram allergic patient demonstrated IgE binding. So we have this 10 red gram patient, and then we did the experiment which we did in mice. Exposed them, got their sera, and this is the 2D electrophoresis profile. Similar, only profile, no Western. This is the immunoblot of this protein profile using the pooled sera from the red gram sensitized mice. This is the immunoblot of the red gram CP with pooled sera of the red gram sensitive patient. You can see that all the proteins which were showing blots in case of mice were present also in humans. So using this case we can see that even if it is, these proteins were not known to be allergic, and we have put this in IUIS nomination. We got the nomenclature from them, and this clearly shows that we can have unknown protein is scanned in mice, and maybe if we have several cases like that, we can predict that yes, we can safely to some extent that these proteins may be allergic. Similarly, in case of green gram, I will not repeat, this is the same thing, digestibility assay, and the proteins were stable. You can see that say like 3 proteins were stable up to 60 minutes, where 2 proteins were stable up to 2 minutes and 15 minutes respectively. The most important, you get this Western immunoblot for a single ID, the proteins which were stable. So proteins which were stable, again here it shows that there is one paper of Fu et al. In 2002 which says, yes, they have taken some proteins, pure proteins, and shown that many proteins which are stable may not give IgE, but and some proteins which are not stable and still give IgE. But in many cases in human experiments, you can see that, of course exceptions are there for all the things, and but here you see proteins which were not digestible, you have the bands, IgE bands in most of the cases. Of course, all patients will not be having IgE for all the proteins. It's different, maybe they are taking different type of variety or different food types, so that may vary. Here again you mind it, this is 2D electrophoresis of green gram, and then this is again the green gram West immunoblot using pooled sera of green gram sensitized mice, and this is a human sera. You can see the similarity again, and in this case also we could get this published in Clinical Experimental Allergy, and these proteins have been allergens have been named by given by us and recognized by International Union of Immunological Society, who give the name. And these proteins again, the profile you see is very similar. So I am presenting this data for the first time. We have published it, but I am presenting for the first time this way, which shows a way that yes, we have a way where we can say unknown proteins too can be assessed like this. Red kidney bean is again, I mean, we don't have a 2D of this right now, like, but 2D again you have 1D, you have different proteins which are stable, and you have the mice as well as human sera where you have not very clean bands, I agree, but still you have bands which are having very similar, and this is published in Food Research International. Similarly, in the case of chickpea, and there are 7 proteins for stable, and you get western of this in similar western by mice as well as human sera. So this gives me that we can use it, maybe we can use other rat or other models, mice models or some other, and see that whether we can duplicate this human study using unknown proteins, and we can be sure that this GM crop with inserted protein is not having more or less allergy. I mean, it can be predicted. So this is the summary of that. Molecular weight of pepsin resistant proteins and IgG binding proteins from the sensitized mice as well as human sera were almost similar. Murine model of sensitization against food allergens provide an optimal tool for allergic risk assessment and studying the mechanism. And due to similarity with human population provoking immunological responses, this model can be used as allergen assessment of newly developed GM crops and their proteins. Thank you very much for your attention.